Everybody, Patty Ann here again today. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to use Essentials a little bit more, Embrilliance Essentials. I'm going to show you how to take the image on the left, which I purchased, and you'll be able to see down below where I purchased it in case you'd like to get it as well. It's a really cool site. All of their things, I think, are $1.45, so that's a great bargain. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to go from the one on the left to the one on the right using just Essentials. Now, let's assume that maybe you don't even want this thing, but this is a good video for you to watch because the more times you see people doing more things with the software, you'll just keep learning and learning. And especially if you grab the item yourself and just stitch it or click the buttons along with me. So let's get started. Okay, as you can see, this is where I came to get the design. It says Happy Easter, and I can leave it like that, or I can change it up like I'm going to show you. Notice right here, it is $1.45. Just add it to your cart. They probably have to add sales tax, and then you just download it and extract it. After you do that, then you'll open Embrilliance, and here is my Embrilliance right here. I'll go ahead and make a new, or open a new one, and it's Oh My Crafty, if that's who it's from, Oh My Crafty, and I'll do the Easter egg one, the 4x4. Okay, so here we are in Embrilliance, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to change things up just using Embrilliance Essentials. Sorry, Essentials. So I'm going to come over here to the Objects panel and click on this little plus sign, which opens up and allows me to see all of the objects in here. Okay, so there's the moss green color, the dark fuchsia, and the lavender. Well, the first thing I know that I want to do is I want to get rid of the text because I don't want it to say Happy Easter. And since this really isn't a working file, it's a stitch file, I'm unable to change that right now. So all I can do is hit delete on my keyboard to delete it. Gone. Perfect. Now the next thing that I did was I grabbed these little circly things right here. If you have Stitch Artist, you can make these yourself using the motifs button. But since we are only in Embrilliance Essentials, we can't do that. But I want to duplicate that and put one inside a different color. So the way that you can get around that with Essentials is this. Come up here to the Stitch Simulator and start running it. So you notice it starts with the green and does all of the green, and then it goes over to the red, and it's done. So what we want to do is we want to let this Stitch Simulator run until it gets to the top right up here from that and finishes that little ball right there. And then I'm going to show you what to do next. But now you can, if you're not sure if it's at the very end, let's go ahead and scroll in a little bit and do the Stitch Simulator. And you can go like with these buttons here. This makes it run through just automatically like that. Or you can do it with this little box right here, or when you're getting close to where you know you want to be, you can use these blue triangles here, and they go one stitch at a time. See how it's going back and forth, one stitch at a time? And as soon as it finishes that one right there, I'm going to stop it. So I'm going to go back one because I don't want it poking out like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the word stop right here. Stop. That's going to put in what's called a color stop. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change the color to something else, a different color that's not in this, like maybe an orange, and say okay. So that's going to make a lot of the rest of this an orange color. So let's scroll out a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. See what it did? It made all of these that color. So what I said I wanted though originally was another one of these, right? This thing, the green, and I wanted it inside and I want it pink. So let me show you how to do that. Okay, just using the compass rose again, I'm going to move this higher to where I want it to be so we can see it more easily. Now what I want to do is I want to duplicate this green one. So I'm going to click off of this and just come over here to the Objects panel and just select the green one. So and then and then the next thing I'm going to do is come up here to Edit, Copy, or if you know keyboard shortcuts, it's Control C for copy, and then Edit, Paste, or Control V for paste. So what that's done is it pasted another one right on top of this one, and it placed it down here at the very bottom in the Objects panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag that one off of there inside like that. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to this one. Well, no, actually, what I'm going to do is come to the Objects panel because I don't really want this all to be a yellowy gold. I want it to be the green like it was. So I'm going to come over here in the Objects panel and find that. There it is. And I can change it back to green by coming down here to the color swatch or the color chip. And right now I'd have to scroll through all of these to find it. But if I want the exact same color of green, all I need to do is click on the word palettes, and that gives me just the colors that are currently in the design that I'm working on. So I want this exact green and say OK. So now if I do open that color chip again, you'll notice the yellow is gone because it's no longer in this design. Okay, so here's our design so far. And like I said, I wanted this one to be the same color as this little flower here. So I'm going to click on it to select it, come over here to its color chip, and change it to the fuchsia and say OK. And on mine, what I think I did was I clicked on it and I made it a little bit smaller like that. Okay. And if you'd like to rotate it a little bit, there's this little green or blue circle right here. And when I hover over it, my little mouse turns into a little thing with double-headed arrows, and it allows me to twirl this thing around however I'd like to. Don't want to do much to it though, just maybe a hair bit like that. Okay, so then the other thing that I did on mine was I did grab one of these flowers and put it down here at the bottom. And the way you would do that would be the same technique. You're going to run all the way through your stitch simulator, okay, till you get to the flowers. And when you get to the flower that you want, which I think it's this one right here that I'm undoing, going to go back. Okay, let's scroll in so I can see, and you can see pretty much what I'm doing here. And I'm right here with the stitch simulator. And at this point, again, I'll use the 1 stitch by 1 stitch blue triangles here. So if I go forward, all right, well, I'm going forward. Okay, do you see that? It started on this flower here now. So I'm going to go back, 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 back. All right, go forward 1 because I see the little crosshairs right here in this one. So I'm going to go forward 1, and there's where it's going to start. So at this point then, I'll leave it this little box right here, and I'm going to come hit the stop, color change. And again, if I'd like to, I can color change it to something that's not at all in my design, so it's easy to pick out. So I'll just use this light green, I think it's light olive, and say OK. And so there it is now. And I'm going to duplicate it like I had done before. So I'm going to make sure I just have the light olive selected. Going to come up here. Another way you can duplicate, besides going to Edit and Copy or Control and C, you can also come up here. Right here is the copy with the copy papers, and this is the paste. So it pasted one right on top of this, put it at the bottom down here. So I'm going to grab it out of there for right now. I'm going to go ahead and change this one back to the color that it was originally. So when I click on this, I get the whole design because it's grouped together. I just want that one. And so I'm going to change its color back, and I don't want to have to search for it. I want to get the exact same color. So I'm going to go to Palettes, and there it is. Say OK, perfect. All right, let's scroll out a little bit, and I'll use this to move it up a little. Okay, so this little design, oh, how did I get 2 of them? Whoopsie, I only wanted 1. So I want to get rid of one of these. Let's see. So again, I'll have to do the same thing actually. I'll do this, run the stitch simulator. When that one's done, and I'll go forward a couple of dots, so I know it's going to the next one. Okay, right there, back. So right there, where it is, I'm going to say stop, change that color to some other green and say okay. And now I can go here and simply delete this, whoopsie, delete this one out by clicking on it to highlight it and hitting delete on my keyboard, because this is the only little guy I wanted. Now I am going to use this little blue button here to rotate it around. I'm not sure if I really like this thing down here, but it gives us extra practice. I'll put this right here, and I can change its color then to the same fuchsia that we had used and say okay. All right, the last thing that I have to do is I was going to put in some text. So I'll just come over here to the text tool. Automatically it says ABC. I'm going to make it say think spring. Oh, I want it on 2 lines, right? So in order for it to be 2 lines, I do have to click this right here, multi-line text. Right now it's on single line text. I want it on multi-line text. Watch what happens to this text box when I click on that. See how I made it bigger? So now after the word think, I can hit my entry or my return, whatever, enter key, and type in spring. And now I can't just hit enter on my keyboard to make that work. I have to hit the word set. And oopsie, and I typed spring wrong. Think spring. And again, I just changed that. I can't just hit enter. I have to hit set. So there's think spring. Let's see if I can smush that down far enough to fit. Well, I really can, and it works. It let me do it. So I could just leave it right like that. And of course, I'd like to change the color of that. So I don't see the color swatch right here when I'm using the fonts or the text. But notice there's a little tab right here that says color. You can click on that, and then I can click on this and make it the same color as the rest. So let's see how well I did. I'm going to group all this together. Whoops. I'm going to grab everything. If you like keyboard shortcuts, you can do Control G for group, or you can come up here to edit and group. And then I'm going to Control C to copy that. And I'm going to come back over to this one. I used a different font on this one, and I think I kind of like it better, but we'll see. And let's bring in this one I just finished. Control V, and there it is. All right. So there are the 3 of them. This was the beginning. Well, we can probably get a little further. There we go. Okay, here's the first one. Here's the second one. And oh, I did it a little bit differently, and I think I like the second one better. I put this on the outside, and of course I used a different font. Want to see how to put it on the outside easily? Let's go back over there. And I think, yes, I can grab that by itself and just drag it outside here if I would like. And I can make it larger if I'd like, or that's twirling it because I got the blue handle. If I want to make it larger, I just get the box, and then I can twirl it again with the blue. But again, if I wanted to change the font, I can still do that here. If I come over here to the Objects panel, I can go in between these and my cursor changes, so I can bring this down a little further or up if I need to. So here's the letters, and I could come over here and find a font that maybe I like better, and I don't remember what I used, unfortunately. That one's really cute, but I don't think it's, oh yeah, okay, that one's cute. Maybe that's it. So I can move this right down here. And again, if I'd like to, I can change the color of this font, again, by coming over here to the properties, color. Right now it's black. I'll change it to pink or fuchsia, and there we go. So again, I can grab all this, do Control G to group, or come up here to edit and group, and then I'm going to edit, copy, or Control C, come back over to this one, and I'll just do Control V, which will paste the new one in there. So now we have another new one. Let's see. I don't know. So you can change it up any way you want. You can change the colors of your flowers. You can just really have a lot of fun with this, working in essentials to change up a design to make it a little bit your own. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you was how you can easily change the flower colors to different colors like I have showing on my screen here. So all I did was bring in, I'm going to merge in the same thing. So I'll go to File and Merge Stitch File. I'm going to merge in this 4x4 one. Here it is right here. So you can see what I'm going for is this one on the left. I'm just going to delete it so I don't have too much open. Just delete that one. And this is what I'm going for, making these different colors. So you just start out the same way that you did before. You get out the Stitch Simulator, and you can bypass all the green because we don't want to change those colors. When we get to the fuchsia, maybe I'll let the first flower be fuchsia. Go down with my Stitch Simulator until I'm just about at the end of it. Maybe you can see the crosshair right here. I'll go in with my magnifying glass so that you can see it, hopefully. Oops. Okay, you can see the Stitch Simulator working on that flower. It's getting almost to the end. You see it right here. I'm going to start using the blue triangle, so it'll go stitch by stitch until it starts doing the second flower. Once it starts doing the second flower, I am going to go back a couple until my crosshair is right here, and then I'll go forward one, so it's right getting ready to start the new flower. That's when I'm going to put in a stop, a color stop, and I'm going to change the color. So I'm going to change it to something else here. Let's see, we'll change it to a light blue, and I'll say okay. And of course that changes all the rest of the flowers to that light blue color, which is not what I want. So I'm going to use the Stitch Simulator again, scroll on by the green, past the fuchsia, past the first blue flower until it starts stitching the second blue flower. And again, I'll use the step-by-step here. There we go. Now it's right at the beginning of the third flower. I'm going to put a stop, color stop, and I'll change it to a different color, just like this, a purple. Let's say okay. And let's scroll out to see what we have so far. Okay, so that made the other flower purple as well. I only want one purple flower. So again, Stitch Simulator. And so what this is doing, it's going to do you're going to change from the green thread to fuchsia thread. It's going to do this flower and it'll stop. It stops when it gets to the next color. You'll put on your blue thread, stitch out the blue flower, it will stop. Put on your purple thread, stitch the purple flower, it will stop. And again, I'm going to use the back, little one at a time stitch here till I'm back right there. And then I'm going to put another color stop in, and I'll change this one's color as well to something else. How about a yellow? Say okay. That was not a good yellow. I want to fix that again, so I'm going to click on this guy. Whoops, just the last one down here. Well, no, just this one right here. See, when you click on things in the object panel over here, it puts a box around them. And that way you know that you're working on what you want to be working on. Well, this one says it's fresh green. I don't like that. I'm going to change it to yellow because that's what I meant to click on. Say okay. All right, so this is all there is to this. I'm going to go ahead and use the compass rose thing again to try to get this in the middle a little bit. And let's see, maybe, whoops, scroll down a little bit. It's not quite so big. There we go. And I'll just use the Stitch Simulator. I'll run through it myself manually so you can see it's going to do all the dots, the leaves, and then it's going to start doing the flowers one at a time. So that's how easy it is to change up things in Embrilliance Essentials. Remember, I like Essentials. It's pretty essential. If you don't have Essentials, you might want to grab it down below right now until I think it's the I think it might be until the 23rd. Essentials or all of the components of Embrilliance are on sale. So check it out. Use the code I have down below for you. Thanks again for joining me. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. Really helps for YouTube to push them out there so more people can see and we can learn together. So I'll see you all again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.